This is question number 1 from the Chapter 8 closure problems. Factor and use the zero product property to find the roots of the following quadratic equation. So the roots are just the x-intercepts. Roots and zeros are a different word for x-intercepts, but they're the same thing. So the first one is 0 equals x squared minus 7x plus 12. So for this I'm going to do a generic rectangle and a diamond to start off. So I'm going to put my x squareds in the bottom left and the units, so 12 in the top right. For our diamond, we need to multiply these two together to put it up top, so we get 12x squared on the top of the diamond. And all of our x's, so in this case negative 7x goes in the bottom of our diamond. So we need things that multiply to 12 and add to negative 7. So we have 1 and 12, 2 and 6, and 3 and 4. So the only ones that add up to 7 are 3 and 4, and since this is a negative 7, both of ours are going to be negative. So we have negative 3x and negative 4x. We're going to put those in our generic rectangle, so negative 3x, negative 4x, and find the outside. So I'm going to start right here. What do these two boxes have in common? So their greatest common factor is an x. X times what is x squared? So an x goes there. X times what is negative 3x? So that's going to be negative 3. And negative 3 times what is 12? It's negative 4. So our factoring, we have 0 equals, and our sides are going to be the parentheses. So x minus 4 times x minus 3. Okay, since it's already equal to 0, that's what our y equals when we're looking for the x-intercepts. So we're going to set both of these parentheses equal to 0. So x minus 4 equals 0, x minus 3 equals 0. We're going to solve for both of our x's. So for x minus 4, I'm going to add 4 to both sides, and I get x equals 4. My next one, I'm going to add 3 to both sides, and I get x equals 3. Alright, B. 0 equals 6x squared minus 23x plus 22. Plus 20. So do a generic rectangle and a diamond again. The first thing I look for is, do these have anything in common? They don't, so we can't divide everything by a number since they don't have anything in common. So I'm going to do my x squareds again, 6x squared and 20 up in the top right. If we multiply these together, we get 120x squared. And our x's, negative 23x, goes on the bottom. I'm going to come up with all the factors of 120 and see if we can get something to add up to 23. So we have 1 and 120, 2 times 60, 3 times 40, 4 times 30, 5 times 24, 6 times 20, and I'm going to stop at 8 times 15. So what I'm looking for is some of these that are going to add up to 23, and that's going to be 8 times 15, or 8 plus 15. But since we need it to be negative 23, we're going to make both of these negative. So negative times negative is going to be a positive, which is what we want up there. Put these in our generic rectangle and find the outsides. So the biggest thing that these two have in common is going to be a 2x. Put that on the bottom. 2x and put a 3x out here. Those equal 6x squared. 3x times negative 5 gives me 15x. And negative 5 times negative 4 gives me positive 20. So same thing as the last one, 0 equals, and then we write our parentheses, 3x minus 4 times 2x minus 5. And now we set our parentheses equal to 0. So 3x minus 4 equals 0. and 2x minus 5 equals 0. So let's start with this one. Add 4 to both sides. We get 3x equals 4. Divide both sides by 3, and we get x equals 4/3. So that's one of our x's. Next one, we're going to add 5 to both sides. So we get 2x equals 5. Next, divide both sides by 2, and we get x equals 5/2. Alright, both of our x's for B. Next one is C. 0 equals x squared minus 9. So, generic rectangle and a diamond. If you notice that this is a difference of squares like we talked about in class, you can go ahead and write it out as your parentheses, but if you don't remember that, we're just going to do a generic rectangle. So put x squared in the bottom left, negative 9 in the top right. X squared times negative 9, negative 9x squared goes in the top. And we don't have any x's in there, so we're going to say 0 x's for the bottom of our diamond. So something times something added together is 0, so they cancel each other out, and multiplied is negative 9. Well, the only factors besides 9 and 1 are 3 and negative 3, and those added together are 0. So we're going to put those in our generic rectangle and find the outsides. So we're going to have x and x to make x squared, negative 3 here. Negative 3 times positive 3 gives us that negative 9. So 0 equals, for sides, x plus 3 times x minus 3. And just like the previous one, set those equal to 0. So x plus 3 equals 0, x minus 3 equals 0. We'll solve those. Subtract 3 on both sides. We get x equals negative 3. Add 3 on both sides for this one, and we're going to get x equals positive 3. Alright, our last one on 1. Part D. 0 equals x squared plus 12x plus 36. I'm going to do a generic rectangle again. And put x squared and 36. So we get 36x squared. And our 12x's are going to go in the bottom of the diamond. And some factors of 36. So 1 and 36, 2 and 18, 3 and 12, 9 and 4. The other ones are 6 and 6. So 6 and 6 add up to 12. So 6x on both sides. And in our generic rectangle. And this one, our sides are going to be the same. So we're going to have x and x and 6 and 6 for the outside. So we have 0 equals x plus 6 times x plus 6. The only thing that we have is an x plus 6, so we really only need to write it once because we're going to get the same result both times. So I'm just going to write x plus 6 equals 0, minus 6 on both sides, and we're going to get x equals negative 6.